Hey everyone, Lillie here with a little bit of a beginning blurb to start this episode off. In the very first 3.5 minutes or so of this episode, something messed up with my recording software, and my voice is extremely robotic and low quality for some reason. After like an hour of troubleshooting, I couldn't figure out what the problem was, so I just decided to leave this little message to explain the problem and to prevent anyone from clicking off after the first 30 seconds of listening to my horribly sounding voice. So if you're listening to this episode, don't worry about the weird sounding voice in the beginning. That will get cleared up very soon. And enjoy the rest of the episode. Greetings, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to episode 40 and episode 41 of Extreme Evocast, an all-purpose Pokemon podcast where we talk about news, trivia, and everything related to Pokemon. Judging by the fact that my voice just sort of died there, you can probably tell that maybe I'm a little bit snuffly. The reason for that is because I just got home from a friend's house where we were hanging out all day doing some fun stuff, doing some homework, just having a nice friend day. But they have a cat, and I am pretty badly allergic to cats, so I had to wait a little bit longer to do this episode of Evocast tonight. Because I didn't want my voice to be extremely sniffly while I was doing it, so I had to sort of wait for the allergies to die down. But you might hear a little bit of it in my voice. You might hear some sniffling every so often, so I hope you don't mind that. This episode has been a long time coming. Way too long. Actually, if you listen to if you are keeping up with this episode, you will know that with this podcast, not this episode, you will know that I did not release an episode last week, or last 2 weeks, last month, or, last time I was supposed to upload an episode. That was because mostly, and this is going to sound kind of stupid for a Pokemon podcast, but I did not have anything to talk about. I sat there for 3-4 hours, taking down notes, doing some research into some things, and I just could not come up with anything to talk about. And this doesn't happen very often. The only other time where I can really recall is when I actually talked about the fact that nothing was going on, so I couldn't talk about anything, like a few episodes ago, actually. And, it was sort of grouped in with the fact that there was no news. And, that's a lie. There wasn't no news, but, there was almost nothing going on in the Pokemon community or anything that was being released, or no games are really getting that huge of an update. And after I had already compiled all of the news and the notes together and struggling to think of something like a topic to talk about, I'm like, I'll just do another type review. But I just did a type review, and I don't want to do one right after the other. I want to keep things a little bit more refreshed, and also because of the fact that school has been pretty busy for me recently. College is stressful. College is a lot on me right now. I have a lot going on, so I didn't really have a lot of free time to sort of brew a topic, in my mind for a couple days. And it all felt really last minute. It all felt really rushed, and like I was pulling at strings, trying to get something to come up, but I just could not. And so because of that, I did not release an episode last time, just because I didn't want to put an episode that was half done. I didn't want to put an episode that didn't have the same passion that every other Evocast episode has. So I just thought, you know what? I'll make a tweet. I will let everybody know that there will not be an episode this week, or there will not be an episode tomorrow, because it was Tuesday night when I usually record this podcast, and I was like, I felt a little, I'm not going to lie, I felt a little bad about it. But now that I've sort of had some time to think about it, sort of, after planning this episode, I'm very glad that I did, because honestly, even then, there's really not that much going on. Like, the news that we have for these quote-unquote 2 combined episodes is just pretty much the normal amount that I would have in another episode. Maybe on a good week, where we have some things going on. But, like, in the Pokemon community and the Pokemon news area right now is pretty dry. Really nothing much is coming out soon. I mean, we do have the Crown Tundra coming out in a couple of weeks, I think, or maybe a couple of months at most. So that is something to look forward to. Who knows? Maybe next episode will be about the Crown Tundra. I doubt it. I don't know. But for now, all I can really say is I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get an episode out last time. But I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. I would rather not release an episode that is completely half done and not passionate like every other episode is. So this episode is, like I say every time I do this, it's a little bit of an apology, but it's not really anything worth apologizing about. I just feel like I need to make it up to people. Even then, I mean, this episode is not going to contain anything special. It's just going to be a pretty normal episode, but hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from and, forgive me. Anyway, let's get on to the episode. It has been one long month since last episode, so I am ready to get back into things. I've had some time to get used to college. I've had some time to, hunker down, really think about Pokemon. Honestly, like, do not worry, do not fret, young one. This is not the beginning of a reclining or a descending interest in Pokemon on my part. But honestly, I have not really been super into Pokemon recently, and I know that's crazy to think about. At least it's crazy for me to think about. Pokemon is like my favorite thing of all time. But, it's not that I'm not into it. It's just that, I haven't really had a lot of time to play it. I've had my interest into other things, other creative projects, other games like Team Fortress 2, Among Us, Fall Guys, all those new games that are coming out. I say TF2 like it's a new game. Recently, I got back into TF2, so that's been taking up a lot of my time. Among Us and Fall Guys has been taking up so much of my time recently. So fun games, and also spending time with my friends, playing D&D, playing tabletop games at college has been taking up a lot of my time. And I haven't really had that much time to think about or really play Pokemon. Not that Pokemon is never, in my main interest group. Sometimes my interests just sort of go away from them. And hopefully you can understand that. That's just kind of the way that I do things. When it comes to interests, my interests ebb and flow. Sometimes I'll be really, really hyper-focused on Pokemon, and honestly, that's how I was during the summer. And I think you can see that in my episodes. And then slowly, as the college year started, I've started to sort of just go down in interest in Pokemon, and like I said, I haven't had a lot of time to play. So, like I said, do not fret. This is not a declining interest in Pokemon that will eventually lead to the demise of this podcast. It is just a low spot in my availability and interest to play and super hyper focus on Pokemon like I usually do. But knowing me and my interests, that will probably go back up sometime in the future. But until then, I hope you enjoy the episode, and we do have some news to talk about. Nothing super insane. Like I said, there really has not been that much stuff to talk about recently. Mostly just tiny updates to Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Cafe Mix, things like that. There are a few interesting things that we will touch on in a little bit here, but I want to go through sort of the mundane things. For example, in Cafe Mix, Torterra is coming. Oh my god, there's that throat thing I was talking about. My allergies are making my immune system go insane, and thus my nose is stiffly. stiffly. I don't know if that's the right word. It's like I'm combining sniffly and stuffy. My nose is stuffy and my throat is scratchy. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I feel like I sound a lot different today. I hope I'm not getting sick, but I'm almost 100% certain that it is just the cat that I was just around for like 8 to 10 hours. I'm not really sure how long I was there for. But Torterra is coming to Pokemon Cafe Mix, as well as team events, as far as I can tell. I haven't really had a lot of time to play Pokemon Cafe Mix. I played a little bit of it when it first came out, but I haven't really had the motivation or time to play it. But there is a Snorlax team event, and it adds Snorlax into the game. Players must join teams of up to 30 people to complete orders and try to make Snorlax happy so it can be befriended, with various rewards along the way. Alongside this, a special bundle to purchase Snorlax Maniac Pikachu, as well as various items and golden acorns, I think that's supposed to say acorns, is now available. This runs until October 8th, 2020. I didn't know there was team events in Cafe Mix. That's very interesting. As well as that Snorlax and Torterra update, there is also a new sort of just multi-purpose update coming that is already here in Pokemon Cafe Mix. It has added 50 new regular order stages and 25 new master order stages, as well as various new Pokemon gimmicks and offerings, including Plusle and Minun. I'm not going to go through all of the changes, but just know that Pokemon Cafe Mix has gotten a pretty big update, so it seems, judging by I'm looking through the list right now, there's quite a lot here. So if you are into Pokemon Cafe Mix and maybe have not had time to play it very recently, who knows? Maybe this update will be for you. Going away from Pokemon Cafe Mix and going into the beef of today's news, as always, Pokemon Go. First of all, there are some new things in terms of the Mega Evolution that's been going on. Mega Pidgeot is in the game. That's pretty much it. You know, you can battle Mega Pidgeot just like any other Mega Pokemon, and you can Mega Evolve Pidgeot. Speaking of Mega Pokemon, there is a Halloween research coming pretty soon. Apparently, there's some timed research like going on until September 28th, which is actually today. I'm recording this episode a little bit earlier than usual, but if the players complete the timed research on time, hopefully you have, then they'll be able to get some research during Halloween to get Mega Gengar. So it seems like they're slowly adding new Pokemon into the game, new Mega Pokemon, into the game, and next up is going to be Mega Gengar during Halloween, which is very fitting. And last but certainly not least, there was a community day that happened September 20th, almost a little bit more than a week ago, for Porygon. I did actually get to participate in this community day. I hung out with friends on that day, and I was able to play a little bit of it just on my own free time when I was walking around to and from places around campus. I didn't manage to get a shiny, unfortunately. I don't even think I managed to get enough to evolve Porygon, which sucks. I haven't really checked, but I did manage to participate finally. But like I said, I didn't get a shiny, didn't really get anything special, but hey, I got a lot of Porygon, and I do like Porygon. It feels good after so long being like, oh, I didn't get to participate because I live in the middle of nowhere. I'm finally able to slowly sort of go my way back into these community days and actually be able to talk about them and my experiences with them. Albeit just being, I got to participate. That's enough for me. That makes me happy. And I hope that you have some good luck with that. Finally, we have four more things of a little bit more excitement coming up soon. First of all, the normally US exclusive, which I didn't know about, Funko Pops for the Pikachu and Bulbasaur are coming to Europe. I can give you the exact locations if I can find the Cerebi post. Let's see. It was a long time ago, or like earlier this month. So here we go. It has been confirmed that the previously US exclusive Funko Pop figures are being released in the UK and Europe next month. They'll be available in certain stores I'm not going to go through all these because there's actually quite a lot. So if you are into this and you live in any of those countries, or if you live in the UK or Europe and you're interested in getting your hands on these Pikachu and Bulbasaur Funko Pops, then I would recommend going to cerebi.net, where I get most of my information from, and checking out the post here for what stores you can get them and where. Next, in something that I did not expect, but I am glad to see that Pokemon is maybe expanding their horizons little by little as time goes on. If I can find the post, there is the very first opening from the Japanese, the Pokemon anime, the Japanese version of the Pokemon anime, is now DLC in Taiko no Tatsujin Drum and Fun, which is that like drum rhythm game that you can get. It is 2-star, 4-star, 5-star, and 7-star on each respective difficulty. There's currently no details on international release, but will be expected a few weeks later. So it looks like it's just in Japan. But if you play this game and you like Pokemon, then boy howdy do I have news for you. You can play the opening from it says the first opening theme to the current Japanese Pokemon anime is to be released as DLC. Oh, it's available in Europe. Never mind. It's not just Japan. It's actually in Europe. So if you are a European and you happen to play the Taiko drum games and you like Pokemon, then like I said, boy howdy do I have some news for you. What a special occasion. But it's good to see Pokemon reaching out and, adding their content to some other games. Maybe we'll get a Pokemon song in like Just Dance or something, if that hasn't happened already. And finally, before we get into the larger news thing that I'd like to talk about today that may be accompanied by some bad news, I am letting you know that the next 12 episodes, technically the quote-unquote second season of Pokemon Journeys, is now available on Netflix in the US. And that also reminds me that I should definitely watch that series. I think I mentioned it a few episodes ago that I showed interest in watching this series so I could talk about it on the podcast, because honestly, I think I need to step out of my comfort zone and maybe watch a few episodes of this anime and see if I like it, because I actually haven't yet. I've talked about my distaste for the recent anime in the past, but who knows? Maybe I'll like this one. I don't really have any set dates on when that'll happen, but maybe in my free time, if I remember or if I feel like it, I'll watch this anime and talk about it on the podcast. And finally, some bad news. Well, okay, good news for everybody, accompanied by bad news for listeners of this podcast. There is a Sword and Shield Crown Tundra information being released tomorrow, September 29th, via a YouTube stream. And unfortunately, as much as I would have loved to delay this episode until tomorrow, I am actually recording an episode for my other podcast, which by the time of this recording has not been released yet, so keep that a secret. So unfortunately, I don't have time to record an episode of Evocast tomorrow, also because I'm going to be littered with school and classes tomorrow, and won't really have a lot of time to meander around. And I really just wanted to be safe and record the episode today so I wouldn't have to worry about it tomorrow. But unfortunately, you will probably have to wait until next episode for me to hear my opinions about this, if it's huge. I mean, if it's just some story bits or some new some Pokemon being revealed that Pokemon that were in earlier generations being brought back in the Crown Tundra. It's not going to be super exciting. It will be exciting, but nothing too sore to not be able to talk about in this podcast. But if it's new Pokemon, new huge stuff, I'm going to be pretty salty if I can't talk about it. And I suppose if you're listening to this episode right now, it's already come out. And you know how insanely awesome this update video was, or how mildly normal it was. Don't say anything. Don't spoil it for past Lillie. Keep your secrets to yourself, and I will enjoy the update tomorrow at 13 o'clock UTC. That's what, like 1 o'clock UTC? What is that in my time? I might actually be in class that time. That's not going to be fun for me. Let's see. UTC to EST. I am in EST. Wow, I did not type that correctly. Oh, 9 p.m. Oh, I did. Right, I did 1 o'clock p.m. Oh, it's going to be really early in the morning, huh? Hold on. 9 a.m. I guess I could have put 2 and 2 together that 1 a.m. was 9 p.m. That 1 p.m. would be 9 a.m. respectively. It was 9 a.m. tomorrow. That is like the beginning of my class. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch it until like after I get out of class at like 3 o'clock tomorrow. So, it doesn't really matter. Who cares when I'm going to watch it, right? All you know, if you're listening to this episode, you know what's on it, you know what happened, and unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for my opinions until next episode, I'm sorry to say. But nevertheless, I am very excited to know what is in store for the Crown Tundra. Maybe we'll get a release date. I know, like I was saying, who knows when it'll release, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. Well, if you're listening to this, you probably already know. So that is very exciting. I'm super looking forward to being able to watch that tomorrow, and like I said, I hope it's something big. All right, 20 minutes in the episode, be done with the news. That's not too shabby if I do say so myself. I'm realizing now that, I sort of predated this episode with, this is like the big, 2-episode combined. Like last time I did a 2-episode combined, I think it was like 2 hours long, but that was just because I had content to talk about one time, and then I had to sort of stretch them together into one. But this episode probably isn't going to be much longer than normal episodes, just because combined the 2 weeks, information sort of just go into one. So I'm not really expecting this episode to be too long. And with that, let's move on to everybody's favorite segment, where we talk about a random Pokemon every episode. And today, the Pokemon on the chopping block is probably something that some people might be able to guess. Number 54. That's Gen 1. That's one of the, that's the original 151. Can you guess what number 54 is? I'll give you a second. It's Psyduck, the duck Pokemon. You love him. You know him. Psyduck is the, from the anime, haha, funny headache Pokemon. But Psyduck has some good charm. I really enjoy Psyduck as a Pokemon. He's got a good character, a good place in the anime, or in the original anime. Honestly, enough to make him a memorable Pokemon, despite not really being one that I think would be. I think that the anime really sort of, put in stone this Pokemon as being lovable by many people. I've had a lot of people say that they really like Psyduck, and honestly, if it was just a duck, if it was just this, I don't know if people would like it nearly as much. Anyway, Psyduck is a water-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 1. It is number 54, like I said, the duck Pokemon, and it evolves into Golduck starting at level 33. Like I said, Psyduck, I almost said Golduck, and you know what? I don't really think that I'm too much to blame on that, because has it ever bothered you that Psyduck is a water-type Pokemon, and Golduck is also a water-type Pokemon, but Golduck is, known for being able to learn Psychic-type moves, right? That's, its whole thing. It's it's also sort of a Psychic Pokemon, which, honestly, it probably should be a Psychic Water. And Golduck's name is Golduck, and it's not gold like Psyduck is? I mean, who knows? There's a lot of theories out there that the two names got switched, but knowing Pokemon's weird way of naming things, I'm not really surprised. I don't think that, I don't necessarily, it was probably given thought, but I don't think that it's too much of a resemblance that it was they were definitely going to name the Pokemon Golduck and Psyduck reverse, but they messed up during the game development, so that's just how it is now. I mean, if they really messed that up, I'm sure they would have fixed it. But, it's sort of been a common debate as old as the original Pokemon game. So if we're talking about Psyduck, I had to mention it. Other than that, I mean, its abilities are Damp or Cloud 9. Swift Swim is a hidden ability. 50-50 male-female ratio, 2'7" or 0.8 meters, 43.2 pounds or 19.6 kilograms. Other than those things, there's not really much interest about it. You know, I mean, like I said, it was very popular in the anime and probably the reason behind its fame. I suppose the only really other big appearance it has when it was in Detective Pikachu, which even then it had sort of a supportive kind of comedy relief role, which is almost, I mean, you know, Psyduck has always been more of a comic relief Pokemon, which, I mean, I think it fits the bill. No pun intended there. I think that Psyduck is, if anything, or if there was a comic relief Pokemon to be had, I think that Psyduck fits that pretty well. Other than that, I suppose we can do some Pokedex entries, and then, you know, it's before Gen 3, we can do the good old-fashioned Mystery Dungeon dialogue lines. Let's see. Let's look at some Pokedex entries. I am expecting a lot of things about headaches. While lulling its enemies with its vacant look, this wily Pokemon will use psychokinetic powers. See, why is it use psychic if it's not psychic type? Why wouldn't they make Golduck and Psyduck psychic type? It's literally Psyduck. You know? Why would they not make it psychic type? Anyway, always tormented by headaches, it uses psychic powers, but it is not known if it intends to do so. I guess that's why. It doesn't really mean to. Appears unaware and totally vacant. However, if its chronic headache worsens, it starts exhibiting peculiar powers. It has mystical powers but doesn't recall using them. That's why it always looks puzzled. If its chronic headache peaks, it may exhibit odd powers. It seems to be unable to recall such an episode. So, I mean, these are all pretty the same. Overwhelmed by enigmatic abilities, it suffers a constant headache. It sometimes uses mysterious power. God, could you imagine always having a headache? I think that would be horrible. I mean, personally. Eventually you would probably get used to it, but like, Jesus Christ, have you ever had like a really bad headache? I had a headache one time recently that was like, it was so bad. I could not sleep for like 3 hours until like 4 o'clock in the morning just because of how bad my head was pounding. And like, you know, those are the ones that just like, you question yourself in bed. You're like, why? You know, why me? What did I do to deserve something like this? And like, that happened to me recently, and it was, oh my God, it was the worst experience I've ever had. It's sort of going off on a tangent here, but like, have you ever had a headache that bad? Headaches suck, man. Headaches are worse than like any like passive sort of like, you know, illness that you can have. Like, yeah, feeling nauseous is bad, and like having a tummy ache is okay. You know, it's not too great either, but like having a headache, that like whenever I have a headache, I lose the ability to think clearly, like until it's gone, unless it's like a very, very slight headache. Like, I'm not going to be doing any critical thinking while I have a headache. I think that I'm at my stupidest when I have a headache, and it's like, imagine being like Psyduck and literally having a headache all the time. No wonder they're so stupid, I guess. I mean, like, yeah, they can use psychic powers, but like, does that really make up for it? I don't think I would do that if I was a Psyduck. I think I would rather be dead than anything. Like, good Lord, I don't think if I had it's like, you know, those like, would you press the button memes. I think that if the press the button was, you get psychic powers, but you live constantly with a headache, I think I would definitely not press the button. And I don't think that's necessarily a hot take. I think that that's something that a lot of people would agree on. You know, like, psychic powers are cool and all, but headaches suck, man. And I stand by my decision. I want to know how many people are with me on that. If you have any opportunity to comment, you know, maybe reply to like the Evocast tweet on twitter.com/extreme evocast, or like respond, like DM me on Discord or something. Like, tell me if you would press the button. You have psychic powers, but You always have a headache for the rest of your life. It's not even like, oh, it comes back every so often. It's literally all the time. Could you imagine? That would be a life of constant agony, and I'm not into that. Anyway, going off of that horribly edgy tangent, I suppose, we got into, I guess, more of a pathetic display of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team dialogue. From 51% to 100% HP, it says, "Ow, wow, wow, my head hurts." And that ow, wow, wow is much less exaggerated than actually is. There's a lot more ows in there. And similarly, 26 to 50% HP, ow, wow, 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 I only have half my HP left. And from one quarter HP or less, ow, wow, wow, I'm close to flopping on my face. And then, obviously, this Psyduck is living in constant agony, even when it levels up. Ow, wow, 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 leveled up. Like, see what I mean? This thing, it's living in such constant pain and agony that even when it's at its happiest, when it levels up, it still cries out in pain. This is a Pokemon that is living a constant hell. And I feel bad for it. And now, what we're going to do with this Pokemon that's living in a constant hell is rate its shiny form. And, it's actually not, I'm looking at it right now. It's actually pretty cool. I kind of like it. In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, it was much more of like a lighter blue, just like a straight up light blue, like sky blue. But then in Ruby, Sapphire, and onward, they sort of went with like a teal. It's like a cyan, like a seafoam green almost, maybe in some later generations. But like, it's very teal. It's much more lighter and a little bit more green. And honestly, I really like it. As far as I can tell, they also changed the color of its bill to be like a light cyan instead of like a light yellow, like a beige, like beaks or bills normally are in a duck. And I gotta say, it looks pretty awesome. I actually really enjoy this shiny. For a Pokemon that's living in constant agony, its shiny form is pretty dope. And for that, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Finally, before we move on to the competitive viability of Psyduck, spoiler alert, it doesn't have very much. We're going to go through the trivia. Psyduck is one of 14 Pokemon that one could collect foreign Pokedex entries for in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Really? What, was that a thing? Really? I'm on the page right now. Foreign Pokedex entries are a feature introduced in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, the first Pokemon games to officially support trading between languages. Originally limited to a select group of Pokemon, multilingual Pokedex entries are now accessible for every Pokemon in 9 different languages. Apparently, Psyduck was one of them. Interesting. Along with Ekans, Pikachu, no surprise there, Ponyta, Magikarp, Staryu, Heracross, Wobbuffet, Sneasel, Teddiursa, Wingull, Houndour, Slakoth, and Roselia. No Gen 4 Pokemon. Just Gen 1 and onward, and or Gen 3 and below. Interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. Well, it took until me looking at the Psyduck Pokedex or trivia section on Bulbapedia to learn that. Cool. Psyduck requires the most loops with the capture styler to be captured in Pokemon Ranger, even surpassing Metagross. Huh? Why? Is that like a comic relief thing? Is that a joke? I would understand. I mean, that would make sense. Junichi Masuda has revealed that Psyduck was considered for the role of Pikachu's counterpart in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee instead of Eevee, but it was ultimately not chosen due to it deemed too similar in color to Pikachu. Could you imagine if it was Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Psyduck? I mean, Eevee just makes sense because Eevee is one of everyone's most favorite Pokemon. So Psyduck? Like, maybe it was supposed to be in conjunction with Detective Pikachu, but, like, why Psyduck? I almost wish that happened. Well, it also... Okay. The trivia right underneath it sort of supports this, where it says, Psyduck is Junichi Masuda's favorite Pokemon, which makes sense now that I think about it. So, I mean, like, yeah, he would be considered for the role if it's his favorite Pokemon, but that's just insane to me. I could never imagine Psyduck being a replacement, or even, like, a starter Pokemon in a Pokemon game. Even a Pokemon like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which, like, it had such a focus on, like, the partner Pokemon. I don't think I would feel the same way if it was a Psyduck. Oh my god, I don't even want to think about this anymore. I think I'm gonna get a headache like Psyduck. Anyway, before we end our discussion about this agonizing Pokemon, or sorry, the Pokemon in agony, not necessarily agonizing itself, let's go over its competitive viability. And like I said with a spoiler alert earlier, it's not very much. Psyduck has an HP of 50, an attack of 52, a defense of 48, a special attack of 65, a special defense of 50, and a speed of 55. Psyduck is in the Little Cup format, no surprise there, and this is written by a fat Mudkip. Too slow and sporting abysmal defenses, Psyduck has very little use in Little Cup. Base 55 speed means not that even with a Choice Scarf, Psyduck is not fast enough to outspeed threats such as a Choice Scarf Snivy. Outclassed by Stardew. Been playing too much Stardew Valley. Outclassed by Staryu in utility, speed, and raw power, and limited to two niche and near useless abilities to Cloud9 and Swift Swim, Psyduck makes for an unviable Little Cup Pokemon. As if this little guy didn't need any more bashing on his part. Just par for the course. This poor duck can't win anything, can he? Well, if you're really interested in using a Psyduck in Little Cup, the set you should use is Hydro Pump, Psychic, Ice Beam, Hidden Power Fire, or Scald. Choice Scarf is your item, Cloud9 is your ability, which removes weather conditions, Tibet Nature, which is plus speed and minus attack, and 240 special attack EVs with 240 speed EVs. All right, moving on to the main topic of today. I am actually very excited to talk about this topic today. If you haven't been able to tell by the title, today we are talking about Pixelmon. A topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a very, very long time, ever since I started this podcast. And I think that today is, there's no better day than today. So if you don't know what Pixelmon is a mod for Minecraft. Bear with me. I know it just sounds like, oh my god, today she's talking about a Minecraft mod. But if you have ever played Minecraft, and if you have ever played Pixelmon specifically, you will know that this mod, this game, I would argue, almost a completely different game than Minecraft and Pokemon in general, has some insane history. And honestly, the fact that it is just an amazing mod. I might be a little bit biased here because, one, I've been playing both Minecraft and Pokemon for my entire life. And also, I've been playing Pixelmon for most of my life. I love this mod. I don't even know how many hours I have clocked into it. But today, maybe I can convince you to download the mod yourself. So, like I said, Pixelmon is a mod for Minecraft, and it adds Pokemon into the game. It adds, it depends on what we're talking, what version or what time period we're talking about here. But the most basic form of Pixelmon essentially adds Pokemon that you can catch, that you can fight against, and, level up, evolve, things like that into the open world creative sandbox game, Minecraft. Back in the day, back in 2013, good lord, the Pixelmon mod began development. I don't know who the original author was. I looked, I couldn't find it. I apologize. As much as I was really hoping that I could find the original developer of the mod pack, I could not. It was, I mean, okay, listen, it wasn't very good back in the day. The mobs, quote unquote, that the Pokemon represented were very blocky, akin to Minecraft mobs, sort of look and style, but translated into Pokemon. And it was, honestly, it was not the greatest. It was pretty. I mean, okay, at the time, it was insane. It was very, very good. They added models, they added custom sounds, custom voices, custom items, which a lot of them were just like reskinned items from the Pokemon games put into Minecraft as sprites because, why would you replace them? They're already sprite form. The only real problem was just like, turning these Pokemon into mobs and getting them functional. And from what I remember, it wasn't very good. I mean, it was good for the time, but compared to now, it was pretty bad. The Pokemon were glitchy. You could throw Pokemon balls at them and fight. Catch them, fight them, level them up, evolve them. But there wasn't every single Pokemon in the game, obviously. I'm pretty sure it was like only Generation 1. There wasn't that many items in the game. There was like no new ores, anything like that. It was pretty bare bones, just sort of like, hey, look at this thing that you can do in Minecraft. Pretty cool, huh? And over time, it slowly got better and better. There was a big insurgence of it on YouTube, as far as I can remember, and also just like me, enjoying the game. People updated it. The people who originally made it updated. They updated the models to more so resemble the 3D models of the Pokemon in the games, but not necessarily the exact models. They were much more high definition. They had animations. They had better sounds, better voice acting, and they weren't exact copies, but they were actual 3D models instead of being composed of blocks, very, very bare bones blocks, like Minecraft mobs tend to be. And this was the time where Pixelmon really started to get good. They added more and more Pokemon. Obviously, I don't think like the original version of the Pixelmon mod ever had every Pokemon in the game. Even at least up until that point, I don't think that was ever a thing that happened. But like, it was pretty good for what it was worth. You could find trainers around the world. You could train up your Pokemon. You could fight them. You can catch them. Stuff like that. Maybe there was a few other, things that were added, along the way. But other than that, it was pretty bare bones, pretty much. And then in 2017, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No, when Pixelmon finally, after 4 years of buggy mods, Pokemon suffocating in walls because their models were messed up, after so many YouTube Let's Plays and streams of this mod that, looking back on it, wasn't even really that good in the first place, it got removed by Nintendo, surprise, surprise, or Game Freak, I suppose, surprise, surprise, for copyright reasons. And I'm not surprised because it got really popular. Like I said, there was a lot of people playing this game, and like I sort of stopped towards around this time when it happened. I wasn't playing when it got removed. I sort of lost interest in it just because of how buggy it was, and I said that it's not very good, but honestly, like I said, at the time, it was insanely impressive. It was really cool. But finally, it got taken down. It was, it was a long time coming. And after this, Pixelmon split into two main versions, as far as I can tell. It split into Pixelmon Reforged and Pixelmon Generations. And these two mods would go to pioneer Pixelmon. I'm talking adding every Pokemon into the game, adding new items, every single Pokeball, new Minecraft-specific mechanics. Pokemon would spawn in specific biomes. They would spawn at specific times of day. the Pokemon in most of the versions that I played and experienced by watching YouTube videos and stuff replaced all of the models, the custom made models of the Pokemon with with the Pokemon models from the main series games like X and Y, Sun and Moon, and then eventually Sword and Shield. And they looked personally really cool in the game. And they had all of their custom animations, they had all of their custom textures, and there was even like shiny forms for every Pokemon. And Reforged and Generations split off, and there's hundreds of differences between the two versions, but they both pretty much did the same thing. They took the Pixelmon mod that we know and love. Excuse me, my nose is getting stuffy there. It took the Pixelmon mod that we knew and loved and made it 100 times better. Personally, I played Generations. I played Pixelmon Generations. I played a little bit of Pixelmon Reforged at some point. But Generations is the main version that I played and the main version that I'm going to talk about today. And my experiences with it. And good Lord, I remember playing before Generation 7 even came out in the games. Before Sun and Moon was even a thing, I was playing this mod pack, or this mod, and it was so advanced. Pokemon were being replaced by the 3D models slowly getting new voices, amazing updates to new items and textures, and it was a beautiful game. And slowly reworking the Pokemon game, the mechanics and the Pokemon sort of formula into Minecraft was no easy feat, but pretty much every single mechanic, every single math equation, as far as I can tell, is almost exactly the same as a normal Pokemon game. And it's almost like playing a normal Pokemon game. When it comes to battling, when it comes to training up your Pokemon, there's EVs, IVs, everything you could possibly think of in a Pokemon game. Pixelmon has it. And, it sort of went, at least for me, from being cool mod that I'll play for maybe 3 days and then stop, to this is actually a contender for being a full-fledged Pokemon game. And I know that's a crazy statement, but the way that I see Pixelmon right now is almost to the quality standard of an official Pokemon game. It is it's crazy good. It's to me personally, it is very, very appealing to me in terms of how I play games, how I play Minecraft, how I play Pokemon, and I'll get into more of the specific things about me personally later. But I started Pixelmon Generations on a multiplayer server, and I built my houses, I caught my Pokemon, I used their custom economy that every Minecraft server had back in the day, that even has now, and I played so much of it. I collected Pokemon. I was there when Generation 7 was added. I was there when they were slowly updating every model for the Pokemon, and it was what new Pokemon were they going to update the model for? And the voice, and add new voices and stuff. It was insane. It was almost like a Pokemon game that was constantly getting updates. I know that it's not that glorified, and I'm probably looking with a little bit of nostalgia glasses, but it's crazy fun. What can I say? I had a blast with it back in the day. And I say back in the day like it wasn't less than 3 years ago. But I mean, hey, I had a blast with it. Eventually, I streamed it. I played with friends. There was trainers, there was gyms, there was servers you could go on with custom trainers and custom gyms and custom, rewards and items and all kinds of fun things that people were just adding on to. And it was my out for when I was bored of main series Pokemon games, or when I was feeling like sort of a mix of Minecraft and Pokemon. Pixelmon to me is a more versatile open world Pokemon game. And it is essentially what I would love from an open world, sandbox style Pokemon game. Not gonna get into my wish list for that kind of game. That's a topic for another video. But like, it's exactly what you think it is. Pokemon spawn in different biomes, so you have to go exploring. You have to go, you have to stay around for a long time. You have to do the grind in order to train, in order to find legendaries, find rare Pokemon that spawn really low chances in like super specific situations and conditions. And like, it genuinely felt like a collect-em-all game, like an open world Pokemon game. It sort of removed the restrictions of a Pokemon main series title and just plopped you into a world with all of these mechanics there for you to explore and to use to your advantage. But the one thing that I had a problem with Pixelmon, at least for me, is that I could never play by myself. It was always with friends, or it was on a multiplayer server. And even then, it was most always preferably with friends. The trainers in the games will never be like battling against an actual person, or, facing against custom gyms that people make on their servers, or custom regions, custom journeys and stories that you go through, which I experience quite a bit of. And playing alone is just never the same. It's like playing through a Pokemon game, but you only have access to the grass. You only have access to the cities and the trainers to talk to, and sometimes occasionally battle. There's no story, there's no initiative to level up and grind, only to get your Pokemon to a higher level. That's pretty much it. Why else wouldn't you grind and train your Pokemon? You want to get them to a higher level, but there was no incentive to do so. And when you're playing with friends, you can take advantage of just how much fun Minecraft normally is to play with friends. You can build bases with each other. You can go exploring together. You can go mining together. You can grief each other's bases. You can trade with each other. But all of this combined with the multiplayer aspect that we've never been able to get from a Pokemon game. You can do all of these things in this essentially open world Pokemon game that you can, or like with friends. You can do it with friends. You can do it multiplayer. And it's so fun, at least for me. And the ease of access, there's even like competitive Pokemon battling, training up Pokemon, breeding high, perfect IV, perfect nature Pokemon in Pixelmon, and finding these Pokemon, training them up the right way. Battling them with your friends is easier than almost every single Pokemon game that I've played, because you have the entire world at your disposal. You can build whatever you want to help you with this process. It's your own base. It's your own world. You can do whatever you want, and you can train up these Pokemon in however way you want. If you want to be as efficient as you possibly can, Pixelmon lets you. It's so easy to perfect IV train a competitively viable Pokemon, and just like go to a gym that somebody made and challenge them and have fun. And you didn't like that Pokemon? Go train another one. It's super easy. Just like, go to a savanna biome and catch it. You don't have to trade between games or do the tedious EV training of in the Pokemon games, or It's like, and also like, while you EV train and while you IV train or IV train, IV breed or breed for a perfect nature, you can do Minecraft stuff. You can go mining for diamonds. You can breed cows together. It's like, it works so well with the Minecraft formula that I am surprised that more people don't know about this game and are experiencing the fun that I've had in this game. I cannot stress it enough. And just talking about it right now makes me want to play more Pixelmon with my friends. Like, it's so... The word that I would use is versatile. There's versatility. You can do things easier in the Pokemon games. Like I said, you can build things however you want. You can build a Pokemon stadium to look exactly how you want. it's like it's in creative mode even. You can create any Pokemon you want. You can't necessarily do that in a main series Pokemon game without the risk of being banned, yes, there's things such as Pokemon Showdown, easy ways to sort of generate Pokemon and do it. You don't actually have to go through the training process. And I'm not even talking about just competitive Pokemon. You can experience all of the versatility that comes with an open world, essentially, my Pokemon game, with however way that you play Pokemon. If you want to collect every Pokemon, you can do that. You can build different Minecraft bases in every biome and build minecart systems in between to make catching Pokemon easier. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Like I said, I'm fangirling a little bit, yes, but like if you have not experienced this mod pack and you enjoy both Minecraft and Pokemon, consider giving it a try. It's so well done. It's so well put together. The Pokemon models are refined. They're beautiful. The mechanics even improve on certain things that Game Freak just can't get right after so many generations. It's literally a fan-made Pokemon open world sandbox game that's already expanding on an already just super fun game to play. That is Minecraft, And like I said, if Minecraft's not your thing, that's perfectly fine. If modded Minecraft isn't your thing, that's also perfectly fine. But I would recommend giving this a try. I mean, even if you don't really like Minecraft, you don't necessarily have to play it for the Minecraft aspect. Imagine a Pokemon game that you play in first person, that you can run around in a randomly generated world with randomly generated Pokemon, randomly generated trainers, with friends, with as many people as you want, even with random people if you want to join some random server with already built structures. There's so much versatility to this mod, and I genuinely do not think that I would be as passionate as I am about Minecraft, and I don't think that I would nearly play as much Minecraft as I do if I didn't have this mod to play when I felt like it. Anyway, that was a long, drawn-out sort of, just fangirl being dumped into the waveforms of this podcast, but I hope you can admire and understand where my admiration is coming from for this game. Because, this is just Pixelmon Generations that I've had experience with. There's different things in Pixelmon Reforged. For a while, there was totally different ways that the Ultra Beasts and the Ultra Dimensions sort of happened and spawned, and there's some differences between the versions with Pokemon voices and the ways that you catch and obtain Pokemon. It feels like different games to me, different Pokemon games. They might be generally pretty the same. Now I'm not really sure. Like I said, I'd never really played Reforged. I only pretty much played Generations. And if you were to begin playing this game, I would recommend Generations only because Generations is being updated extremely quickly. They currently actually have every single Pokemon in the game, including all of the Galarian forms in Generation 8, and every Pokemon that we can get right now in Pokemon, you can get in Pixelmon. You can experience all of these Pokemon just by running around and waiting for some of them to spawn. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like I said before, this is, I believe, the closest that we may ever get to a genuine open-world Pokemon game. And given the way that I play Pokemon, and given the way that I play games, it is perfect for what I enjoy to do in Pokemon and in games like this. It is almost a dream that this exists in the first place for me. And like I said, I know I've been doing a lot of positive talking about this. Of course it has its problems. Of course it has its flaws as a game. But that's not the important part. It's such a simple concept. It's literally just pick Pokemon in Minecraft, but it's evolved. It has such a deep history, and it has evolved so much to the point where it rivals, I believe, the main series Pokemon games in terms of content, in terms of enjoyability, in terms of replayability, and honestly, if they ever make an open world sandbox style Pokemon game, I think that I would directly compare it to Pixelmon, and I would hope that they would take some sort of inspiration from this simple formula of mashing two extremely popular and simple games together to make, in my opinion, an even better experience. Anyway, that was a long, drawn-out sort of just mess of a fangirl session, but I'm not apologizing for any of it. I don't take it back. I mean, I genuinely feel this way about Pixelmon, and like I said before, if you are interested at all, I would 100% recommend giving it a try. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk up this game that I think deserves even more than I did. But before you go, we have one more thing to talk about today, everybody's favorite segment, of course, where we talk about a random move every episode, Move Tutor, and today's move on the chopping block is number 503. Not that I think anyone is going to be able to guess this move. It is Scald. Scald is a damage-dealing water-type move introduced in Generation 5. It was TM55 from Generation 5 until, there's a lot of 5s there, until Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, where it was TM29. And it is also TR84 in Generation 8. Scald is a water-type move. In Japanese, it's just called Boiling Water, which I think is really funny. It is a special move. It has a PP of 15, a power of 80, and an accuracy of 100%. In Generation 5, Scald inflicts damage and has a 30% chance of burning the target. Upon execution, Scald will thaw the user if frozen, even if the move fails to hit the target. And in Generation 6 and onward, Scald also now thaws a frozen target on hit. In Black, White, and Black 2 and White 2, it says the user shoots boiling hot water at its target. It may also leave the target with a burn, and every other game after it is almost identical. I can't even tell the difference between the two definitions. Scald is a really interesting move. Let's see if there's any trivia before I move on. Prior to the release of Pokemon X and Y, a banner at the Summer 2013 World Hobby Fair showed Lapras using Scald, but Lapras ultimately cannot learn Scald in the final release of the game. Interesting. So Scald is a really interesting move because I'm pretty sure it's like the only, it is a absolute staple of competitive Pokemon, which is why we love Scald from the deepest recesses of our heart if you play any competitive Pokemon, and also maybe hate it from every deep recess of your heart, because it is a spammable stab water-type move that also has a very high chance of burning, and burning in competitive Pokemon, and just in Pokemon in general, is very strong, because it cuts the attack of a Pokemon in half. So, Scald is a very, very good move. One of the best, if I had to say so myself, in my personal opinion. It's nothing super special. It's just a power 80 water-type move that has a 30% chance of burning, but, just that alone is insanely powerful and, way more than anyone would have expected when they made this move. And like I said, has become an absolute staple of the competitive Pokemon metagame, to the point where, having a water-type Pokemon, if it's a special attacker and it can learn Scald, it's almost for sure that you will put Scald on that Pokemon, unless there's a huge exception that I'm missing. But as far as I can tell from using many water-type Pokemon in the past, Scald is just a great move. Anyway, with Scald out of the way, that is all I have to talk about for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this pseudo-double episode. It really wasn't even a double episode. But nonetheless, I sort of have to call it that to keep my organization and my episode planning and just in terms of the numbers, stable for my own sake of sanity, and maybe for everybody else's. But this was episode 40 and episode 41, sort of combined into one. Like I said, it's been a slow couple of months for Pokemon ever since Isle of Armor came out. Not too much really to discuss. Hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, you will know when the Crown Tundra will be released, and after I release the episode, I will too, and maybe next episode I'll even have a chance to talk about it if it comes out before then. So, until then, I hope you've enjoyed listening to today's episode. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I thank you so much for listening. Bye!